Welcome to the March 18th, 2016 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on U.S. Senators Cory, Gardner, and Michael Bennett being at odds, surprise, this week over President Obama's Supreme Court nomination of Merrick Garland. Senator Gardner supports the GOP's decision to hold off and allow the next president to nominate a candidate. Meanwhile, Senator Michael Bennett cites constitutional responsibility as a reason to consider the president's nominee now. Patty Calhoun from Westward. Do you think Republicans in the Senate are going to rue this stance, and I guess even more importantly, be able to keep this stance throughout the fall, especially if there's a nominee named Donald Trump?
Well, that's why they might really want to think about considering this now. Let's not forget that the only person that Donald Trump has floated as a possible Supreme Court justice is his sister. So who's pro-choice? So really, if the Republicans want to consider maybe a middle-of-the-road jurist with excellent reputation, they should think about Merrick Garland. They should take it under consideration. Obama had to nominate someone. We had this discussion a few weeks ago that's according to the Constitution. He shall push for a vacancy. That doesn't mean the Republicans have to okay it now, but they might want to, because no telling what they'll get otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Todd Shepherd from Complete Colorado joins us. So if you had a chance to give some advice to the GOP senators in the U.S. Senate, in private, you get to just talk to them, what would your advice be?
I don't know. It is a complete conundrum. I guess I would start to try to analyze it on a state-by-state basis, and especially swing states in terms of electoral college votes. But again, when you don't even know who the nominee is or will be, how do you even do that analysis? So honestly, I would love to be able to not sidestep your question. The honest truth is I don't know. The one thing I don't get is people just seem to never really involve the political calculation in this, that it's perfectly fine for the Senate Republicans to say, you know what, we're going to delay, we're going to stall, and they're putting their political chips out on the table when they do that. They let them do that and let them take any consequence that may come of it. If it angers the electorate, let them lose seats. If it rallies the base, let them win more Senate seats. It's perfectly fine for them to stall and take the political calculation and consequences come they may.
Eric Sonnen, political analyst. The more and more I've looked at this one, the more I'm thinking that it's a much longer story than what we're seeing right now. It's March, and right now it could be a contested convention. It might be President Trump and Hillary and everything else. It's not nearly as solidified as it may look when we're getting actual general election polls on Labor Day. And the Republicans might have Republicans in the Senate might have an entirely different point of view. Do you think they're playing the long game, or are they going to stay at this stance?
Right now, I think they're playing to their base, but I think what their base is telling them, witness Donald Trump, witness Ted Cruz, is that they desperately want somebody who's going to stand up and fight for them. For the Republicans to abandon this, I mean, McConnell somewhat painted him into a corner, but it might be a conscious corner and maybe even a correct corner. The president clearly has a job to do. As Patty points out, he shall nominate. He has done his job. He has picked somebody who he would not have picked probably under other circumstances if he was at the height of his power, when he was appointing a Sonia Sotomayor or even Elena Kagan. This is somebody who's a half a generation older, so would not be on the court presumably for as long a period of time, and is probably not a card-carrying liberal on every issue. They're going to be a left-of-center vote in all likelihood, if Mr. Garland ever gets to the court on more issues than not, but might more resemble a left-of-center Anthony Kennedy as opposed to a real somebody who's out there on a Ruth Bader Ginsburg who's out there really trying to push the edges. On the show, my disgrace of the week was just the rampant hypocrisy all around here, where if the situation was reversed, Republican president, Democratic Senate, everyone's talking points get swapped out for the other guy's talking points. There is no consistency here. There's nothing but situational ethics. I do think the Republicans have an out here. If Hillary Clinton is elected president in November, you still have a lame duck session of Congress the rest of November and December. And if they are worried about President Clinton picking somebody who's 45 instead of in his early 60s and who is ultra left as opposed to moderate left, they can then just, at that point in time, confirm Mr. Garland to the court, or even before November if it looks like the Trump candidacy is totally cratering.
A lame duck scenario. I had not thought about that one, Eric. I like that one. Kristen Wyatt from the AP, thank you for joining us. We talked about in the show about the effect of a potential Donald Trump nomination on local races here all the way to the state legislature. Do you think if there's more polling out in the next couple of months that this stance is really hurting Republicans as a whole, not just Senate Republicans, that they might soften their stance?
It's hard to say. I will say it seems ironic that I think, Gardner is on the side of let's delay. Bennett publicly would say let's have a vote. Privately, they probably have the opposite opinion. If this is why. Because if you can somehow make the general election between Bennett and a Republican challenger about abortion, about the kind of hot touch social issues that might come before a Supreme Court, and you can make this a referendum on who do you want deciding your reproductive rights? Do you want Michael Bennett, the champion of women here, or do you want, Democrats would love to make this race about social issues like that, not about the budget, not about Obamacare, not about the kinds of things they don't poll well on. So I'd be curious if Republicans privately might think, as everybody pointed out, maybe we could take another look at this guy, either in a lame duck session or just to keep this off, how it's affecting their down ticket races.
That's all the time we have for Colorado Inside Postgame this week. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.